As the structure of the uterine tube starts to narrow down, this is the isthmus. This is the uterine tube. This is the infundibulum. These are the fimbriae. This is the ovary. Here we have the perimetrium, and here we have the myometrium, and inside we have the endometrium. This is the uterus. This here is the clitoris. This part right here is the posterior fornix, and this is the anterior fornix. This is the lumina vagina, and then here we have labia minus, and here labia majus. Right here we have our urinary bladder, our urethra, and then right here we have the external urethral orifice. Here we have our clitoris. This is our pubis, and this is our mons pubis. Here we have our rectus, and then our anus. Okay. Here we have the fundus of the uterus. This is the uterine cavity. This is the internal OS. This is the cervical canal. This is the external OS. This is the lateral fornix, and this is the cervix. This is the vagina. This is the endometrium, myometrium, perimetrium. Here we have the Graafian follicle. Here we have the secondary oocytes. And then here we have the corpus luteum. This whole structure here is the uterine tube. Here we have the fundus of the uterus. This is the body of the uterus. Here we have the isthmus, the ampulla, and the infundibulum. This is the fimbriae, and this is the ovary. Here we have the sensory ligament of the ovary, and these are the ovarian blood vessels. Here we have the round ligament of the uterus, and then on the bottom we have the ureter on the blue. Here we have the urinary bladder. Here we have the ureter, the seminal gland, the prostate gland. Then we have the urogenital diaphragm. We have the rectum, and under here we have the anus, right there. Here we see the testes, and then this is the head of the epididymis, the body of the epididymis, and the tail of the epididymis that turns into the ductus vas deferens that follows all the way up and continues here. On the ductus vas deferens, we see blood vessels and nerves. This is considered the scrotum. And here we see corpora cavernosum. And then this is corpus sponginosum. And in between we see the urethra. And here we have the external urethral orifice. And this is glans penis. So I have the ureter, the renal pelvis, the renal artery, the renal vein, the segmental artery and vein. Then I have the fibrous capsule, which is the brown. Then I have the minor calyx, and then major calyx, which is where these two connect. Then I have the renal pyramid in the renal canal, or renal medulla. Then I have the renal cortex, which is this area right here. Then I have the renal column. And then I have the arcuate artery, the arcuate vein, and then I have the cortical
artery, the ones that extend outward, and then I have the cortical radiate vein, the one that extends outward, and then I have the interlobar artery and vein, and I believe that is it. The parotid?
Parotid gland.
Okay.
So I have the parotid gland, submandibular gland on the inside, the mouth, the tongue, the sublingual gland, then
And the pharynx?
the pharynx here.
Yep.
The esophagus. This is the liver.
Yep.
This is the stomach. The spleen. The pancreas.
What's that brown spot?
This is the duodenum.
Okay.
And then for the stomach, I'll go stomach first. Do you care which one? No. Okay. So it's the fundus. The esophagus starts right here,
Or it ends right there?
or it ends right here. This is the fundus, the greater curvature, the lesser curvature, the longitudinal layer, circular layer, and the duodenum connects here, and then the body of the stomach. And then switch over to this matter. This area right here is the cardia. The rugae of the stomach. That open space is the lumen. The widest area is the pyloric antrum. The smallest is the pyloric canal. This is the pyloric sphincter, the rectum, and
No.
not the rectum, sorry. Duodenum.
Yeah.
That's where it starts. Am I forgetting anything?
The transverse colon. For that, you're good.
Okay. We have the appendix, the cecum. This is the ascending colon, transverse colon, descending colon, sigmoid colon, the rectum, and the anus. This is the anal cavity. I already said the cecum, right?
The jejunum.
Jejunum is here. The ligament that runs along is the tinea coli. This is the left flexure. This is the right flexure. And the anus. I think that's it for that.
Here we have the rectum, and here we have the anus. Here we have the urinary bladder that extends to the urethra that goes all the way down and becomes the external urethral orifice. As we make our way back up, here we have the ejaculatory duct that extends to the seminal gland. This structure right here is the prostate gland. Here we see the urogenital diaphragm. Going our way back down the urethra, in between the urethra we see the corpus sponginosum, and then here we have corpora cavernosa. Here we have the glans penis. Here we have the propus, and then on this side we have the cavity of the tunica vaginalis. Here we have the epididymis. This is head of epididymis, body of epididymis, and tail of epididymis. As it goes up, it turns into the ductus vas deferens. Here in these in between is the seminiferous tubules, and that is it.
So this is the villus. This is the enterocytes, goblet cells, lacteal, lymphatic vessels, duodenal glands. These are the enteroendocrine sites, the intestinal crypt. I already said goblet cells. I think that's it. It's actually the one that like separates the two lobes. So in this instance, it's this one,
So what is that?
the falciform ligament.
Falciform ligament. Okay.
Yeah.
And that's it for that one?
Oh no.
Oh,
sorry.
sorry.
This is the right lobe of the liver, the left lobe of the liver, the falciform ligament. And then we flip it inside. The gallbladder, the cystic duct, the common hepatic duct, and the bile duct. This is the left hepatic duct. This is the right hepatic duct. And that's it.
Did you say what the duct is?
Falciform ligament.